Orbis, a land rife with politics and war. Who will make sense of the chaos? Who will make you poop your pants with laughter? Oh, I think you know. Orbis Weekly presents, live from Platinum Studios, Great Job with Kevin Charlie.
Welcome to our second week of Great Job with Kevin Charlie.
Yeah, how's it going?
Pleasure to have you. Good to see you, Charlie.
Good to see you, Kev.
Oh, what's new with you, buddy?
Nothing much, man. I'm just kicking it with my buds. That's Budweiser. I don't really care about you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody in here is awesome. I love you all, and I'm really excited for this week.
Except for Kilo. So, last week we covered a handful of things. I'm sure you guys who tuned in last week remember we talked about the micro problem. We talked about what's going on in Orbis, and we had a few awesome guest speakers, which included Manthrax, H-Way, and then I know Gorge stopped in there for a second too. Thanks again for the people that stopped in yesterday. We have a few surprises for you today. So with that said, we'll just go ahead and kick it over to the News Minute. So Charlie, you want to kick us off?
Nope, not at all. I've paid zero attention this week.
You did not know much.
Nope, didn't know anything. I'm gonna start off with Future War Cult. Right? I like Illin. I've talked to Illin very briefly, but he is a stand-up guy. And, I understand real life obligations definitely take precedence over politics and war. And, he's got to do what you got to do. But it was a shame to see the way things panned out there, So Infinity crops up. To Infinity and Beyond, more like falling with style. That's my joke for the day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was another pathetic collapse. I don't want to. Well, I'll just throw it. It was a pathetic collapse. I'm gonna call it what it is.
Sure.
So you looked at Sunray 1-1, a bunch of alliances merging together, trying to make something. I know the Hippo talked about this when people keep going for the shortcut, right, and then they fall on their face.
Right.
I feel like that's what happened with Sunray 1-1 a few weeks ago. And I feel that's what happened with Future War Cult or Infinity, trying to rebrand, and they just said, fuck it, and then they dissolved.
Yeah, just give it. Well, I think that actually speaks a lot about Illin. I think that, especially in smaller alliances, one player can really be the cohesive bond that keeps an alliance going. And in a vacuum situation like that, I mean, it just didn't have the same feel. Maybe people were only there for Illin or whatever the case was, and one way or another it just didn't work out.
Maybe they had hope that their new leader would lead them to greatness.
Woo, buddy.
Got him.
I need to.
All right, so
I need to add some new samples to my soundboard. I need like a little just for jokes that are the best.
Something else we had. So Wilhelm just recently stepped down at the Syndicate. So I know Partisan had led that group for a long time. He stepped down for a while. He came back, and now Wilhelm stepping down. As someone that just recently got into this game, but I'm familiar with Wilhelm in the other game, Cyber Nations. I guess I'm not surprised to see him retire just based on how long he's been playing these kinds of games. But it is kind of sad to see someone that I'm familiar with step down. I don't know if you have any strong feelings or not about that, Charlie.
I don't. I actually don't have very much connection with TS Gov, but I can totally understand wanting to retire because there's just so much to do, especially in an alliance like that size, and with that much going on. I imagine it wears on you when you have to balance real life and PW, which it's a game, sure, but if you want to, I don't know, people take this game like really seriously, and I kind of like that. I like that. I do that myself. I think it's more fun if people are legitimately invested in in the character they make, or in the nation that they're building, or the alliance. It's cool to see how people can really get behind an idea or a community and get involved. But it's also very taxing. I mean, I've been trying to retire for 10 months since we formed 10 months ago. But yeah, it's just I've got a whole lot of love for Bad Company, and I'm sure it's the same for other people in other alliances.
Well, I think you touched on something there. I mean, we're about to get deep, but this is kind of an escape, I think, for most people. I mean, it almost is like a second life, almost. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which, God, that sounds pathetic saying it out loud, but it's true. Yeah. Because I don't think it's pathetic. You get to create your own persona. You can be a part of a great community. You can try things and kind of experiment with how you talk to people, and you use your real life experience, obviously, for this game, but vice versa. I mean, I've been playing this game since I was 13, 12, I don't know, since 2006.
Yeah.
I started with Cyber Nations and then Nation States before that, and honestly, that helped. This community has helped me figure out when people are bullshitting me.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, just figuring out different life skills, some what not to do, right?
Right.
So, I mean, this game is a big part. These kinds of games are a big part of a lot of people. So, like you said, I'm sure that wasn't decision Wilhelm made wasn't taken lightly. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next here. So,
sure.
KR and Tesla signed a treaty. We have Adrienne joining us here in a bit. We'll ask her a little bit more about that, but I think it was a solid sign. Tesla's been growing rapidly.
Right.
It looks like they've got a decent future. I know they do a lot of shit on the back end. They do more foreign affairs, I think, than people realize.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool to see in a smaller alliance. And it's cool to see any relationship evolve between a protector and their protectorate. It's nice to see, instead of just a brutal collapse like we've been seeing lately. It's nice to see people getting to the point where they can kind of stand on their own two legs.
So we were talking about micro last week, to bring it up again, and you heard the leader from TGH talk about it on his show earlier today, which he did a great job, by the way. That was a fun show to tune into. But you heard about these micros that keep popping up, and then they die. They're just sucking on the teeth of the game just for a little while, and then they fizzle off, right? It's cool to see, like you said, Tesla is not a part of that group. And to kind of touch on what we talked about last week with the Venture Protection Agreement, you guys will be seeing that here. I believe it should be signed within this week.
Right. If
you guys are looking to join, or know of someone that's looking to join an alliance, them contact me. I'll get you in touch with these guys making an alliance, and that way they can just build up one community instead of these splinter groups just dying off. Heads up, be on the lookout for a new community being announced here shortly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for that.
No, for sure. I'm curious to see how the VPA will be received and who will do it next, right?
And even to see it in practice. I mean, we've talked about it at length in private and in theory, and it's an awesome concept. I think it'll be really beneficial to the community as a whole. But it'll be cool to see somebody either thrive or kind of fall into the loving arms of the Platinum Palace.
Right. That way, again, I'm going to be referencing the show a lot, Mr. Hippo, because you did make a lot of great points on there. But it's going back into maybe these people creating an alliance should maybe be in a larger alliance first. Luckily, this first VPA that we're going to sign, it's with a great group of people, and I don't foresee that happening. I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to upgrade in little time. But you're right. With all these micros popping up, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they collapse. So we'll see what happens here in the future with these micros that have recently founded and micros that have yet to be founded. So we'll move on from there. Charlie, do you want to go ahead and cover the next bit of news?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's go ahead and cover the new leak that Shifty put out there. That the Commonwealth are having all these people spy on them, right? So they're setting up countermeasures to being spied on.
Sure.
Shifty, some of his leaks have been a little lackluster lately from what I've heard, right? That's what people keep telling me, is that his leaks used to be a lot better.
Right.
Breaking
news.
I think this one has more meat on its bones than what some people realize, and I think this might be a cue in on what's about to go down.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that any kind of like aggressive action on the cusp of the expiration of the NAP could possibly be a precursor. I don't know. I'm going to slide in here and go ahead and blame Rose because they have a history of doing this sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know for sure. And I mean, it really could just be like totally rogue spy attacks. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. So awesome. So again, it was a really slow week in news. There wasn't much to report on. But we do have a few sweet commercials that we're going to be shooting over your way.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break.
Yeah, without these commercials, there's just no way that we can make this show work. I mean, the cost of the recording studio time and our salary, of course, it's astronomical, the amount of money that we make off of this. So let's give some attention, give some love to our sponsors. Are you depressed? Do you find yourself contemplating a reroll? Are you stuck in a rut and can't seem to find your way out? You might be suffering from a condition caused by sustained exposure to the night's radiant. You aren't alone. Hundreds of players suffer from untreated radiant sickness every day. Players just like you have fallen victim to this illness. But now, there's hope. Alameo. Advances in medical technology have made it possible to treat this disease. It's not too late to start living again. Alameo is a simple, two-step treatment that can free your nation from radiant sickness once and for all. If you would like more information to help turn your life around, please contact a BK representative today. With Alameo, your future is yours. Your future is bright.
Hey. So, we have a brand new news station called Royal Orbis News. It's really great. You should come check it out. Go ahead and hop over to our Discord channel, and we'll summarize some news bases to the best of our ability. You won't be disappointed, I hope. This is the Royal Orbis News Network. Have a nice day.
Fuck that shit. Prepare to rock. Orbis Weekly. Hardcore. Real shit. Only the best. Yeah. Hard hitting. Epic. Platinum as fuck. Great job with Kevin Charlie. Professional as shit.
Hardcore.
Money shot.
We really appreciate. I know nobody likes commercials, but we really appreciate you guys sticking with us through that break. It really makes a difference. Yeah, that'll come up later. We'll have another commercial break.
Okay.
Sometime soon. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So we've got a few things to touch on here. Last week we had a live poll on which sphere you guys believe to be the sphere that would start the next global war. The results are in. We diligently counted everyone's post on that, and it looks like 58% of you believe that the syndicate sphere would start the next global war. Next up would be IQ with 43%, and then the rest is other. You're gonna have to go ahead and do the math yourself. The next live poll that we have is who will be number one in the Lions top 10 at the end of 2019. Who do you guys think? That's true. Okay, so let's move on here to the segment. Next, we have something that we like to call Kilo's Corner.
Hey.
Kilo, you want to come off of mute there, bud?
As soon as you decide to unmute me, I can.
Well, there you
You
go.
are unmuted.
Oh, okay. So I was sitting here thinking about this poll you had, right? And I was like, to be number one. And I was disturbed at the lack of the TKR votes. And then I realized radiant disease is actually AIDS. And it's eating them from the inside out. I'm going to go ahead and throw a curveball, and I'm agreeing with Kev here saying God Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's a strong prediction. So, what would God?
But
What would God
ironically
Fury?
enough,
What would God Fury have to do in the next 2 months to pick up that number one spot that so many people are predicting they'll take?
unpopular opinion, they're going to have to merge with Kemlock.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that'll just slingshot him right up there.
Yeah.
That's status quo, though. I mean, that would make sense.
Hey, I mean, gotta do what you gotta do.
We've got.
I honestly like, you know, I just think it's time to go ahead and announce the other leak about TKR merging into DC tonight.
Right.
No, we were saving that for the end of the show, so.
Sure.
But,
But,
fuck it.
you know, I guess it's done now. So that's
have
the
to have
real
my
reason
moment
we have
now.
Adrienne on the show is to confirm the rumors that you've all heard that TKR is merging into BC.
So, you have 30 more seconds, bud.
Oh my god.
Do
No,
that air.
dude.
Hit the sports,
Don't
bud.
hit it, yeah.
Hit the sports.
Sports. The Dodgers are getting the absolute shit kicked out of them, and that makes me happy. The Yankees lost. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck Boston, but go Sox. Let's see. The Eagles beat the shit out of the Giants. So fuck you, New York. That's my 30 seconds.
And we're out of time. Thank you, Kilo. So that was Kilo's Corner with Kiloist,
That
the
was
great artist of Orbis.
Tequilo's corner, if you will.
Oh, good one. I like that. Next up, we have a brand new segment coming at you live. So the man, the myth, the legend, Manthrax is joining us tonight, and he's going to bring you the Manthrax Minute. So go ahead and buckle in and enjoy the ride.
Okay, everybody. So welcome to my segment. I was asked to do this like maybe a couple hours ago, and I figured what would be a good thing to have a segment on. I know the first thing I said when I came on yesterday was that I was sad. So I figured what I would do is I would give you all an update on my sadness, and in as much detail as I can get in the limited time I have. So I still have a sinus infection. I'm still deeply depressed about virtually every aspect of my real life. My work life is unrewarding. I'm actually looking at my work laptop right now because I was doing real life work up until the point where I signed in to do this radio show for a political nation simulator. So that's about where I'm at.
You're living
And
your
I
dream.
would like to close with a list I've made that is a partial list of things that I envy. Sea urchins, not sea urchins, people with functional lungs, the Macho Man Randy Savage, people who look in the mirror and see something other than my face, the dead, and people who can get a prescription filled without having to answer a bunch of fucking questions. Thanks a lot.
I fucking love you so
And
much.
that was the Manthrax Minute. So next time, be sure to an ice cream cone with to help cheer you up after that shit. Because Jesus Christ.
Oh, that reminds me. So yeah,
Thank you, Manthrax. That was very insightful. We appreciate your insight. and we hope things get better for you, buddy. There will be no encore next week.
Oh no, oh, no, Thrax, it's okay, buddy.
Oh man. Okay, well, thank you and all that, because it's never fun on the widow. Okay, so next up is our guest speakers.
Yeah.
So we have Adrienne from TKR. Adrienne, are you with us?
I'm here.
Hey, sweet. And
Awesome.
you don't sound
Hey.
like you're talking through like the worst
And it's
Wi-Fi in the
actually
world.
working.
Yeah, nice. This is good. This is good.
Do you mind telling us about your politics and war, cybernations, etc. history?
No, Addis, I'm not your multi. Actually, I haven't been playing very many of these nation sims. This is my first real one that I've played. Not a lot of history there, but it's my second under Justin Diaz.
Hey, I had a quick
You're
question.
cutting out a little bit there.
Yeah, are you is there
Can you hear
any
me still?
No, not particularly. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you on your like mobile network? Because
I only
understand-
have Wi-Fi.
I gotcha. All right. Well, we'll make do.
Alright.
Okay. So, Adrienne, how long have you been TKR?
About a year and a half, a little over.
Cool. How was
Okay.
so arguably you're like one of the most influential players in the game. Like you control the number one alliance. You're super nice. You're cunning. So how was your rise to
Are you
power?
about
Like,
to ask her on a date?
I am, yeah. Actually, I'm just gonna start listing off all of her admirable qualities, and then eventually there will be enough endorphins rushing into her brain that I can kind of convince her to.
All right,
to go
carry
out.
on. Sorry.
So can you tell me something about your rise to power?
Well, what do you want to know?
Well, okay. So where'd you start out? Like, how did you get involved in governing TKR to begin with?
Well, after Trail of Tears, I ended up as Logov Milcom, and from there, I just kind of worked it up through the ranks from there. Became Herald of War about a year ago, and then Princess and Leader last spring.
Awesome. Very cool. So have you dabbled in the other departments? I know, I'm sure that being the leader of TKR, you have to do a lot of overlap. You can't just focus on war. So like, did you get any other experience in LoGov and in any of the other departments?
When in any other department, but we often help each other out, so
Sure.
get
Yes.
experience that way.
Cool. So there's a lot of overlap in the government in general. It's not just like
Yeah,
one
'cause-
department. Yeah.
I mean, because if somebody doesn't know how to do something or if needs help, you just jump in and you help each other. That's what you do. So
Awesome. Yeah, I like that approach.
So earlier in the show, we talked about the Tesla treaty that you guys just signed. Could you kind of let us know how that came to be and how you decided, okay, now's the time when we can upgrade from a protectorate?
yeah, well, Tesla's been pretty solid from the start, but we've just been talking a lot lately, and as they got to grow more, we just decided to move forward. We felt like the MDP was a better representation of our relationship, so we just upgraded.
That's really cool that you said that. So that's like one of my core tenets of FA is like, you know, you want to accurately represent your relationship. You don't want to just like you can't force a relationship out of nothing just by signing a treaty. Like, it has to be there. To me, a piece of paper is only a piece of paper unless it represents what's underlying. So it's cool. It's cool that that you guys were able
Hey,
to
Charlie,
find that.
are you sharing Adrian's Wi-Fi? Because kind of sounds like you're cutting in and out there.
Oh hell. All right, how about now? Good?
It sounds a lot better.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So Adrienne, how when you guys upgraded, does the upcoming war have anything to do with it?
No, the decision was just made between me and Hubbets, I guess. Just because we felt at this point it was a better, like I said, it was just a better representation.
Sure.
As between our alliances. They're really solid. I really enjoy working with them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we do.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we're
So
expecting
I guess
great
I'm hearing it's my Wi-Fi that's going in and out there.
things.
So okay, I apologize. So not only in a few drinks deep, but my Wi-Fi is coming from Haiti. So hang in there, guys.
Did you say Haiti or Hades? I don't know if there's much
yes.
difference, but you know.
I'm not sure what the difference is. Right, they're pretty much the same place. But
So,
so Adrienne,
if I can, I want to hit
in the
personal
upcoming war, what's that? Go
I want
ahead.
to hit a personal note real quick with Adrienne. So I understand you're in Mexico right now, but you're not from Mexico. Is that the case?
Right.
So what brings you to Mexico?
I actually work down here. I work for an environmental nonprofit, so
Oh, cool.
I'm here as to do work, basically.
Nice. Yeah, that's
I
great.
have a contract job down here for a couple of years.
Yeah. Fulcrum posted work in quotation marks, and then you mention a contract job. Like, all right. There's been some talk that you're actually an assassin. That's what I'm getting at. Is there any truth to those rumors?
Drug cartel do you work for?
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's I feel like that's a pretty noble profession.
So just in, my wife shot me over a text message, said disconnected from the Wi-Fi. Sorry, fam. So we should be good going forward.
Awesome.
So
wait, your wife said sorry, fam, at the end of her text message.
yeah, she's pretty awesome. Okay, so real quick here, Adrienne, before I bring in Auctor, what do you make of TCW's leak on forums? The leak that Shifty posted about the Commonwealth responding to spy attack.
Oh, well, the leak, as I understand it from the Commonwealth, it was kind of overstated, that whole thing, so.
Sure. What was the truth behind it? What's the reality behind the exaggerated leak?
That there were a few spy attacks.
Okay.
Solid. Did any of them fail? Can you give us any info on who conducted these spy attacks?
No, I'm not really sure. I don't think any of them failed, but I don't know.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Actually, I have one more question. Did you hear the ad that BK put out? What'd you think?
It was kind of hilarious. Actually, I'm kind of surprised, as they discovered a secret that we really tried to hide from you guys. This is why we're isolated over on Slack Island, by the way.
Well, I believe I speak
fear
for
of infection.
I speak for Orbis when I say thank you very much for your consideration, because it's not many people would isolate themselves just to protect the entire community from catching your disease, and I think that's a noble pursuit.
Let's go ahead and play it again. You have it queued up.
No, I can give me like 10 seconds. I'll just chop this out in post, and it'll sound like we were just flawlessly prepared for this, because I am a consummate professional. Are you depressed? Do you find yourself contemplating a reroll? Are you stuck in a rut and can't seem to find your way out? You might be suffering from a condition caused by sustained exposure to the night's radiant. You aren't alone. Hundreds of players suffer from untreated radiant sickness every day. Players just like you have fallen victim to this illness. But now, there's hope. LMAO. Advances in medical technology have made it possible to treat this disease. It's not too late to start living again. LMAO is a simple, two-step treatment that can free your nation from radiant sickness once and for all. If you would like more information to help turn your life around, please contact a BK representative today. With Ayla Mayo, your future is yours. Your future is bright.
Wow. Wow, powerful stuff.
Powerful indeed. Rhythm's audio quality is garbage, so you should take this opportunity to subscribe to Orbis Weekly. With a subscription of any level, you can access our website. It's orbisweekly.net/great-job. And we host all of our recorded episodes there, and with full quality advertisements and other sound.
Well, I mean, you just cut out there, and that's what's going to be in the recording too. But it is full quality ads at the very least.
So everything's full quality except for the actual content of the show.
Next up here, we're going to bring Auctor. Auctor, are you with us, bud? Oh. Hello. Hi. How are you doing this fine evening? I've been basically well awake for the last couple hours, so I'm a couple drinks in. But thank you for joining us tonight here. I'm going to ask you some of the same questions I asked Adrienne. Could you give us a breakdown on what your cyber nations and what your politics and war history is?
All right, can anybody hear him?
Just about sure that I was going to get sucked into some kind of crazy pervert cult. No, I was up for it, I guess.
Well, let me just slide in here real quick. I couldn't hear you for like the first 75% of what you were just saying, so I disconnected, reconnected, and the first thing that I hear when I come back in is sucked into some kind of pervert cult or something.
And it really resonated with me.
Yeah, and that will 100% be in the final cut. That's just boom right there. That's it.
So you're in one-touch football, and then where'd you
Actually don't really remember a whole lot. I think I ended up bouncing around a little bit, and then I ended up going back to 1TF somewhat before I ended up merging with the ROA. I remember spending 6 months in FARC, I guess. I was not very sober the whole time, though.
That's the only way to be. Not very sober.
So you went from FARC to NPO, or was there stops in between?
I was never in NPO or Siren Nations. I only ended up her in NPO because Frawley told me I'd join to help him out and I wouldn't have to do a darn thing. And I could basically just sit there and farm whatever resources I ever needed. I would never, ever have to contribute in any positive way. Otherwise, I still resent him for this to this day.
Okay. So what about your politics and war history?
Well, when MPO started, I came over with the first. There was a number. I want to say it was 29 or something. At any rate, I came over here, then I stayed.
Do you
is that it?
Came over and I stayed. What keeps you in NPO? I mean, so obviously the community has to be like killer because it's 100% tax, right? I'm like 99% sure that's right. And you know, there's the whole joke about like, you know, one rock multi is as good as the next. So without the individuality that a lot of other alliances allow, what keeps you in NPO?
I think that if your individuality is based on some kind of like financial acumen in a freaking browser sheet game, placing your faith in the wrong kind of chariots, buddy.
Fair enough. So, how would you describe NPO's community? Because, like, for all of the power afforded NPO, I know very little about you guys. I don't know that I've ever like sat down and had a conversation with a Pacifican.
What do you mean by his community? I don't get it.
Like
So NPO has been a community since like early 2000s from nation states, like the Francoism. There's been a lot of tight knit people within NPO. Does that not carry over to politics and war?
We have a channel and we talk to each other. Pretty normal.
Killer. Okay.
are you guys like all super tight friends?
No.
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 Okay,
right,
so
bud.
what is it?
Some of them might be, but definitely not with me.
No. Do you have friends in NPO? It's okay if you
So
don't.
I
why
don't have
they-
friends. What is
You
this?
know, I guess I can see that. This is all making sense now. So, real quick here, Auctor, could you give us any indication on where IQ or where NPO stands with the next war?
We're for it.
for it.
Okay.
That's the best answer I've ever heard in my life. Where do you guys see yourselves falling? So we have 3 pretty comprehensive spheres right now. You know, so you guys could your IQ. NPO is IQ. Where do you see IQ falling in between the other 2 spheres?
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. So are you going to be fighting both of the other spheres? Is that the plan?
Oh. I have no idea.
No idea.
I imagine if somebody makes us a good enough offer, we'll do just about anything.
Just take the wars as they come. I like it.
So, okay, Auctor, we've got Adrienne in here, right? It's your favorite thing about Adrienne? And what's your least favorite thing about Adrienne?
She seems to make an attempt at, like, communicating, I suppose.
It's always
And, ditto.
And what?
I'll just repeat the same answer.
She makes an, oh, Jesus. Ooh, shots fired. Okay. All right. So, Adrienne, what's your rebuttal of that? What's your favorite and least favorite thing about Auctor?
He's very intense and, well, I'd say dedicated.
Dedicated? I can get with that. Do you guys talk regularly? Do you have an established relationship?
Do we have what?
Do you have an established relationship? Like, do you?
I'm not dating her, if that's what you asked me.
Well, I was asking if
Oh, God,
Adrienne was single, so that's good. That's 1 down. There's only like 7,500 more to go. Sweet. Do you guys communicate regularly, like in regard to alliance matters?
Politics and war.
Probably once before.
Once before ever? What was that about? We got some great questions coming in from the audience here. Thrax wants to know, Auctor, how far can you carry a plow in harvest season?
How far can I carry a plow in harvest season?
Hard
carrying
shit.
And during harvest season, what kind of an idiot would I be?
I'm telling you what.
You use a plow during a harvest. What you got talking about?
I don't know, man. You're also
That's too fucking true, though. Are you actually in agriculture? Is that a thing you do? Or are you just like logically sound where Thrax is depressed and curled up in the fetal position?
What do you mean in agriculture?
Are you
I'm
a farmer?
gentleman tree farmer. That's what you're talking about.
There you go. There you go. Where are you from?
Marlin.
You said where? I missed. I missed that.
So he's in Maryland. I think.
Yeah,
wow.
Marlin.
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 Aye.
That's where you're born and raised.
Yeah, up in Indianapolis.
No kidding.
All right.
Wow, I would have guessed you were like my neighbor. I live in Athens, Georgia. And that is not at all close to Maryland. That's very far away. Hey, real quick, let me drop in a couple more ads. We got the bills to pay to keep the lights on and keep on pumping out this sweet-ass content you guys love so much.
Well, howdy, partner. I see you've been looking for an alliance. Well, I reckon you look no further. Rough Riders is about as great as alliance as you can join. So go ahead and saddle on up and get your honey over to the Rough Riders Discord channel. I'm Uncle Tom. Yeehaw!
My Politics and War subscription had overdrafted my bank account for the third consecutive month. My wife left me, ARG raided my Alliance bank. Hell, even my dog ran off from the gravel road right out front of the house. I thought I was all out of options. Then I saw an advertisement for Orion Bank. They said it didn't matter that I didn't have no infra left. They could help me get back on my feet. Let me tell you what, they sure did. Thanks, Orion Bank. I don't know where I'd be without you.
Have you fallen on hard times? Do you need a helping hand? Well, look no further than Orion Bank, where you've always got a friend.
So, Auctor, out of curiosity, why choose you to fill in for him?
Because it wasn't falling well.
He wasn't feeling well? Versus some other people that you could have chosen. Why you? Where do you stand in the lineage? Like, why did he choose you to represent NPO?
I was available, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. That's like 95% of the criteria for guests on this show is just being available.
How many interviews have you been a part of before?
Approximately 0.
Oh, make that one, buddy. Make that one.
So, Adrienne, real quick here. So, NPO and TKR have traditionally been on opposing sides, right?
Okay.
What has there ever been any kind of attempt to try to connect IQ and the TKR sphere? And if so, can you expand on that a little?
To connect the two spheres? No. But, no.
So is the root of your tension just like a power struggle because you're both very prominent alliances in the game? What's the root of the tension between TKR and NPO?
A lot of the tensions really occurred before I was really anybody in my alliance, so I don't really know the full history.
Sure.
Might be a better question for Auctor, because I'm not really sure of the full history.
Yeah, well,
okay.
How about Auctor?
So,
what do you have? What's the root cause of the tension between you guys and TKR?
Back when we were in the alliance, we signed back with them, and it didn't all end up panning out quite right, and we were told a couple things that weren't quite accurate, and it all kind of went sideways, and they ended up hitting allies that was defending us in the war that we were the primary targets in, and that was a bit of a delusioning with what we could expect trust law from them going forward.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I'll say, I was worried that staying up for this would cut into my sleeping time, and it actually hasn't. Well done, guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we do aim to please Auctor, and honestly, we really appreciate you and Adrienne coming on and taking this time to talk with us, even though it is kind of hush hush. I imagine some of your answers were pulled and some.
I think Auctor wasn't hush hush at all. Auctor was very honest.
Auctor was Auctor. No, I'd be interested to
he's
revisit
a very
this.
honest dude.
I'd be
Yeah, I
very
know our-
interested to revisit this
Yeah, I
with you
have
guys
a
after the
question
war.
for Auctor here.
Yeah, we tried a little bit of a different format this time. Quite a bit of dead air, so I, again, appreciate you guys hanging in there. I know last week was a little bit more lively. We tried a little bit of a different format this time, so we might be returning to that old format of week 1. But again, I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys coming down. If you guys are looking for advertisements for us to make, you guys heard a few samples of it this week. We had some last week as well. Feel free to drop us a message, and we'll send you over a quote. So in the meantime, stay platinum, and we will see you next week at 11 p.m. Central. And then we'll open it up for a roundtable.
#PlatinumAF.